Welcome to the Internet Homies podcast, a podcast where homies who met on the internet get together and talk about life. I'm Sarah.
I'm Kailey.
And I'm Desi. And on today's episode, we decided that we were going to talk about the pros and cons of having siblings. So I wanted to ask Sarah.
Oh, me. Okay.
I want to have you go first. Give us some pros and some cons of having siblings, and also, I don't know, you're not the oldest, correct?
All right, so my family's a little weird because my dad has a son before me. He is 4 years older than me. However, we did not grow up with him.
Okay.
He was a thing of like, yes, I have a son. His name is this, and that was it. He never gave us any other details. So yeah, that's all I knew.
So technically, in the household, you were the oldest.
Yes, I was the oldest in the household. For my mom, I'm her first child.
Okay.
So technically, I'm the big sister, and I have a little sister, which obviously in the previous episode, she recorded with us.
Mm-hmm.
So because we have such a big gap, we're basically almost 10 years apart. I was pretty much like a second mom to her, so I kind of helped raise her. I was the one that would get her ready, drop her off, pick her up from school. I would take care of her when we were on vacation, cook for her and everything. So for me, like I didn't really have like the regular like fighting with her. Not as as a kid, like she was little. She was um 5 when I was 14, and she wanted to like go in my room when like my friends were over and stuff, but she was like annoying to me at the time because like she's a 5-year-old coming in and we're all teenagers. So I would kick her out of my room, but overall I felt like we had a good relationship. It's one of those things where like because they're your sibling, they know how to push your buttons, like
Yeah.
they know what to say or what to do to piss you off even more.
Oh, of course.
And also, you have leftovers and they eat your leftovers. What the fuck?
Yep. Oh, goodness.
Like, hello? But also you have your inside jokes, everything. I don't know. I feel like I had a really good relationship with my sister. I love my sister to death. I actually met my older brother when I was 21, and this is all because I should be an FBI agent. I found my brother through MySpace.
Oh, God.
And we agreed to meet up, and we met up, and it was the weirdest thing because one, he looks like my dad. Two, I look like my dad. So when we both met up, it was we took a friend. We each took a friend because we were kind of like, okay, this is weird. And both of our friends were like, you guys look like fucking twins. It's so weird. So
That's funny.
yeah, it's What about you, Kailey? Since you have a twin, how's that?
I love and I hate it. Um, I personally, and it's funny because she actually feels the same way. I really hate sharing her birthday. I know a lot of people feel
Oh,
differently about it, but I really hate it because I never got my own day, and I never will have my own day. I always have to share it with somebody. And like, yes, it has its ups. Like, it's kind of cool to share it with somebody, but I also don't have a day just to myself. Like, I never celebrate just me. I also celebrate the two of us. And a lot of the times too, and I get it because it was parents was always like on the cake, like us two, like one cake with their both our names. I'm like, I don't like that. And she's always been. She was born like a minute before I was, So,
So
I
she's
mean,
the
she's
older one?
technically, but we're literally twins, so there's not really like we're not really treated differently as like older and younger.
Uh-huh.
But I've always kind of felt like she like her name always comes first, which also annoys me. Is I'm like, okay, when can my name come first? Like I matter too. Like let my name
Mhm.
come first once in a while. So that always irritates me as well. That's one of my biggest pet peeves too. Is like people send letters and stuff or whatever. It's always her name first, then mine. I'm like, fuck you. Um,
So
but
do
yeah,
you
we
feel like she takes the what's the term? The limelight? The like she steals the spot?
no, like because we're definitely both in it. It just personally annoys me that her name like always comes first. Like when people are thinking of it, it's like, well, they think of both of us, or like they think of her first. I'm like, well, fuck you.
Well, I think of you first.
Well, that's good. I hope so. I would hope so. If not, I might be
No,
having
but
some
I
questions
do
with you later.
I do. But to me it's so interesting like twins, like it just like if one gets hurt, does the other one feel it?
No,
Like is
we're
that
fraternal
really a thing?
twins. We're fraternal twins.
Oh.
It's not.
So
It's not a thing.
it's not the same.
No, and I don't know if people who actually do that are telling the truth or not. I mean,
Uh-huh.
we've had our moments of where like it could be categories of like twin telepathy per se, but it's we're thinking of like the same color, whatever. But it was always then we do something different. So it was never really like twin telepathy or feeling pain or whatever. I'm like, okay, like that's just it always just kind of weird to me how people can do that. I'm like, maybe for identical twins. Because we do look
Mm.
very similar. We're obviously twins, but we're also
Yes.
completely different. We like are still have very much our differences and are fraternal twins.
Oh, okay. Did your mom dress you guys alike?
When we were like younger, yes, but she always tried to do it in like different colors. Of I was pink and she was purple or something like that. As we got a little and then with photo shoots and stuff, she would kind of dress us the exact same.
Mhm.
And then as we got older, we kind of went our separate ways with kind of who we were, which is also another
Mhm.
big factor that actually really pisses me off when people get us confused. I'm like, first of all, I wear glasses, blind bitch. Second of all,
Mhm.
I have a different voice. I look different. I dress differently. She does too. Like there are so many. I wear my hair different. I'm like, there are so many differences where if you literally just take a look and like look, you'll see the differences.
Mm. So
But
like a quick glance, it looks like you guys are the same, but like you actually have to pay attention and then you're like, "Oh wait, no,
I
they're
personally don't
not."
think so. I don't think so. But I mean, if like we're in the same room together, like obviously you're gonna see that we look similar. But I've talked to it depends on kind of who you talk to, honestly. I have plenty of people who talk to, they're like, you guys are nothing alike. I can tell every difference about, like, I can look at you and know the difference. And then there are people who are just like, I don't know the difference. And I'm like, and I go through all the differences and I'm like, stop thinking I'm her. It's actually really annoying. But she feels the same way about that too. She's like, we want to be our own individual people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like getting mixed up with her because I'm like, we're too different and I want to be my own person. And she wants to be her own person too.
Mhm.
Um, but we did like a thing in the fifth grade where we switched our outfits, and our
Mhm.
teacher could tell literally right away. I was like, "Thank you, point proven."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Desi, what
Um,
about your siblings?
So I am the oldest of two younger brothers, and me and my youngest are 4 years apart. So it's not like a crazy age gap. We're all 2 years apart. So it's me, Robbie's 2 years younger, and Troy's 2 years younger than him. And I mean, I was always the ringleader growing up. Like I was like in charge. I was like that older sibling that like what I say goes. you know, you don't
I would
listen
have
to
hated being
me.
your brother.
Yeah, if you don't listen to me, like I would get like pissed. Like I always had to be like player number one, like that kind of thing. Um,
wow, that bad, huh?
yeah, and then so I was like pretty in charge growing up, and I didn't. I mean, I hated having siblings because um after middle school when my dad like left. Anyway, My mom was working a lot and all that stuff, so I had to like be the caregiver at home. So
Mhm.
I also think of myself as like a second mother to my brothers instead of like a sister, and they've even admitted to
Mhm.
like seeing me as like a mother figure rather than just like their sister, which is really nice, but
Mhm.
it also like sucks at the same time. I'm sure you could like understand how that feels. Um
It does.
so I really like grew a different bond with the two of them during that time frame because I started to look at them differently. Like, you know, instead of my annoying siblings, I like actually had to like care for these kids.
Mhm.
And then Robbie and I, because we went to high school together, he's only 2 years younger than me. So when I was a junior, he was a freshman, and we actually ended
Mhm.
up having the same friend group, which is who I'm friends with a lot of his friends now, like you know, like Spartan and a couple of those other people. And so
Mhm.
he and I actually started hanging out in high school, and we
Oh.
became like best friends. And um which is not a relationship we had growing up. Like he and I used to like fist fight. Like we would get like mad at each other and we would like fist fight. And
I would
Oh
definitely
my
say we've done
god.
that too.
we
Like,
would
not necessarily like fist fight, but like we definitely got physical.
oh no, we would fist fight. We would like plan days like, hey, we're gonna beat each other's ass like behind the couch in the living room like this day. So we
And
would
y'all weren't even twins.
no. People
Oh
always
my
thought we
god.
were growing up. We looked exactly alike. And he actually looks older than I do, and so people always thought we were twins growing up, but no, we would fight. Troy was never involved. Troy was like the odd one out. Like he wasn't into the same stuff that we were. And so I didn't really have a relationship with him until honestly maybe like 4 years ago.
Mhm.
Just because it was just so different. Like he wasn't interested in any of the same stuff, and so there was nothing for us to like bond over. But I mean, cons are obvious. Like I hated sharing things, and they did too. If I didn't get attention, like they wanted it too. Like you know, Troy was the baby, and he always wanted the attention, but I was the oldest, and I had always had it first. And so when I didn't get it, I would get mad. um, but like the pros, obviously, I love them to death. Like, and I'm glad that
Mhm.
I grew up with siblings. I would have hated if I grew up without them after experiencing, you know.
Mhm.
So I mean, yeah, and then on the twin thing, I know a pair of twins, and they are identical twins, and it's like the strangest thing. Like their mannerisms are exactly the same, like their thought process is exactly the same, and they've even said that sometimes they can like feel when each other like hurting, which I've always found
Oh.
strange.
They're
Yeah.
identical. I feel like that definitely makes more sense than my sister
I
and
mean,
I.
I've heard it from multiple sets of twins. Like, I'm sure it's a thing, you know. But
To you
But
guys,
I think
but it
you
happens to like other people, you know?
yeah,
you made a good point that I kind of forgot to mention. I do love my sibling. Um, I really do. And I actually really did love growing up with her. If I had grown up by myself, I think I would definitely be a different person than who I am now, and it probably would have been way more boring.
So, on the point with twins, when I was about like 22, 23, whenever I went somewhere, everybody thought my sister was my twin because she looks older than she really is, and I look younger than what I am. So, like, for some reason, they thought we were twins, and it was the weirdest thing. Or they would think that she was the older sister and I was the little sister.
Oh
And
my
I'm like,
gosh.
goodness.
and I would be
You
like, no, it's the reverse.
you reminded me because I've had it before where people have asked, like my mom, they're like, "Was that your like older sister?" I'm like, "Nope, it's my
Oh,
mama."
your mom?
Yeah,
Tell me why. Oh my god.
she's
So
actually really
you
fucking pretty, and I'm glad I take after her. I'm glad I have mostly her traits. Like facial traits, I take after her. My sister takes after my dad, which he's fine too, but like I'm glad to take after my mom. Like love it.
Oh my goodness. Shout out to Panda's mom.
I she's
Who
oh my god, she's made an appearance on my stream before, and people were like, "Oh my god," I was like, "Stop trying to fucking like milf my mom." Like, shut the fuck up. Like, no, we're not doing that.
apparently Panda's mom has got it going on.
She does, and I love her to death. I love her to death. She is like actually gorgeous.
Oh my
Sorry.
goodness. Kailey's mom has got it going on.
Oh my god. All right, she wasn't born in the 80s. She was born before that.
When was she born? Or I mean, like, don't give a year, But how?
Yeah, I'm gonna skip out on that question.
How old is she?
That would give away the year. People did math.
Was she born in like the
I'll
70s?
tell y'all later.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But they used to do that to my mom when she would go to parent-teacher conferences, and they would like card her. Like literally, she had to show her ID to
Are you
show that she
serious?
was my mother. Yes,
wild.
everybody thought she was my big sister. And like my teachers would be such assholes. They would be like, "We told you to bring your parent, not your big sister, so that she could cover for you." And I'm like, "This is my mom. Hello?" Like, what the
Jesus.
I
fuck?
hated parent-teacher conferences. They were the worst fucking thing in the entire world.
Dude, when I was in 5th grade, my mom was there too. But my grandma came to one of my parent-teacher conferences, and everyone thought that my grandmother was my mom.
Oh,
Because she looked really, really young for her age.
mm-hmm.
Like, she was what, like in her 50s back then, and she literally looked like she was like 35. Like, it was crazy.
You want to know a fun fact?
What the fuck?
I actually cried during one of my parent-teacher conferences.
Oh, why?
Because I was actually so pissed. So we had to do a group project. You know how that stuff goes. And I physically told my partner, I was like, we had to build like this structure to like withstand something. I was like, you have to build a good foundation and use triangles. And she didn't listen to me and I got a C on the project. And I was like,
Mhm.
that is not a C grade. I was like, I'm an A student. This is some bullshit. And I went to her and I was like, this is going to be an issue with me because she didn't listen to me. And this is supposed to be a group project. And then from partner teacher conferences came around and she's like, my parents were talking about it too and like the grade and whatever. And then I started crying. I was like, you a whole bitch. I was like, this is actually ridiculous. Well, obviously I didn't say those words. I literally just started bawling. I
Oh
was
my
like, so
gosh.
now I'm just a fucking C student because this person didn't listen to me. Like, that's not fair.
I hated group projects more than
They're
anything
so
on
annoying.
earth.
I like group projects if people could do their stuff and do it well because I did my stuff and I did it well. If you can't do it to my level, get out of the class.
I mean,
Anyways,
Oh my
I know I
God.
hated them though. Like, especially the group projects. Like, a lot of I had some group projects where you didn't have to like present them, but the ones that you had to like
Mhm.
stand up in front of everyone.
oh my
Mhm.
god, and you
Girl.
have like an awkward thumb with the fucking pointer being like, and this is when Martin Luther King Jr. was born. And this is the powerhouse of the South. Shut up. Like,
What is that
actually.
Oh my
voice?
God.
Sorry.
Get out of
Anyways.
here,
Uh,
dude.
Anyways.
Wow. I mean, I did hate groups for that aspect of like getting somebody that doesn't put in their part. Um, but for the most part, my teachers actually would let us pick our groups, so we would pick like our friends, and like we all did what we had to do. Like it wasn't bad.
Oh, and then also too, if people didn't do their work and I wanted the good grade, I did their shit. That was annoying too. So they
Uh,
got to not do anything and they got the A grade. And by the way, if you're listening to this, you're fucking welcome.
you graduated
Anyways,
because of her.
literally.
you I swear to God, half the people in my class graduated because I was their partner. Because I did my
Nice.
stuff, I did my research, and I learned off of my people in my class too. And obviously, let me preface, I'm not the smartest kid. I was never a 4.0, but I was about like between 3.6 and 3.8 my like entire career. So I worked really hard, and I wanted to do well in school. So when I didn't do well in school, it really made me upset. Because also
I was.
my parents were that way
Mhm.
too, where they were pressing us for good grades too. So then I wanted good grades, so I didn't, have to deal with that.
Mhm. I was a
Nobody wants to deal with
3.9.
bad grades.
Oh,
You were
nice.
what?
3.9.
I think
Yeah, see?
I think I graduated with like a 3.6, which was remarkable because I was such a like a like go with the flow student. I never studied for
Yeah.
tests. I like did the bare minimum on homework. Like it was just, and I still got away with a decent GPA. So
This girl
Mhm.
took the SATs and went A B C C B D E
honestly,
A B D F. Like
are you holding my Scantron in front of you? What's going on?
I am holding a scantron.
Like, what the
Right
fuck?
in front of me. I see every red line that you messed up, girl.
Damn.
You know,
Okay.
I
You
was
messed
like
up
that
on
too.
13. 13 was supposed to be A instead of D.
You were like, what?
Anyways.
I was like that too. I would go to my class to some of my classes and I would sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
for
used to
some
I used to like
reason,
sleep in study hall.
like I don't know, I would take those tests, bro, and I would get perfect scores and everybody would be pissed. Like, how? And also, I was that student that finished right away. The first one done. Handing it in every single time.
Did you ever do it where like you finished first, but then you still waited for somebody else to turn it in, so you weren't the
Nope.
first one going out there? Because that was
No,
me.
that wasn't
I
me.
was so
I
anxious. I was like,
fucking
I would finish as
I'm
like, okay, let's go to number. Let's wait for like 5 students. I was like, oh, maybe we'll let these two, and then I'll go up in like 2 minutes, and I was trying to time it out right. I was like, trying not to look like I'm going up, but I'm also really anxious. I was that kid.
Jesus.
no, but I was the kid that was too afraid to cough or sneeze when it was quiet.
Oh
I
my
could
gosh,
never.
yes.
You know that meme
I
of that,
was
like your eyes are watering?
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about too. Where like you're just holding every bodily function in instead of like blowing out people's eardrums right next to you in a test.
Bro, and for some
Especially the
stupid
math
ass reason,
exams. Bro, the
every
math
time there
exams
was
were terrible.
every time there was an exam or a test, I would get the sniffles. It was like a
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
fucking reaction every time.
Oh my
I
god,
would
y'all are
be
gonna get
so mad.
this. You know what else pissed me off? Was when they made you record something and then you'd have to listen to your own voice through the class on the recording. Okay. And you had to sit there and listen to it and listen to the feedback that people were giving you on it. That shit pissed me. You had to go find behind some fucking stairs, raunchy ass stairs that no one else ever heard of, and go to a quiet spot with a little echo and dark and record your perfect voice so that way you can talk about biology. Like, ew, go away.
Why do you
Anyways,
sound like a valley girl, bro?
that's what I'm saying. Anyways,
Oh my god.
whatever.
Hmm.
I
That's
hated
funny.
those. I plugged my ears. I was like, I'm not hearing my voice back. It's so bad.
Dude, I hate the sound of my voice. Which sucks
I feel
because
like
I have to edit
I
some
feel like it's a
shit
human
for.
thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Isn't it
well,
like human genomes? You hate your like your own voice.
it's because the way you
It's a
hear
thing.
yourself when you talk is not actually how you sound. So when you hear
Yeah,
your voice on a recording, it sounds completely different, and you're like, "What
exactly.
the fuck? That's not what I think I sound
Oh
like."
my god! Not only that, audio systems in school were absolutely bullshit. It sounded like they got their audio systems from Wally's junk truck.
Or like a pilot on a plane.
Exactly. Like first captain speaking. We
Greetings,
are going to be
gentlemen.
landing
Please
in
keep your
2
items in seat.
hours. You're like, oh my god.
Oh, it's
All
awful.
of a sudden, I want some peanuts and pretzels.
Oh, sit back and
And if
relax.
your name is Sarah, please go to the cockpit for some pretzels and peanuts. Roger. Anyways,
Roger. So we're on the topic of like a little bit like childhood kind of and stuff like that. I was curious too. I had a question. Obviously people have had like cats and dogs and stuff, but have either of you ever had like more odd pets or animals as pets when you were growing up?
We'll start with Kailey.
okay. Um, no. The pets that I had growing up were typically fish, and I would always beg my parents for a dog, but they would never allow us to have one. So we always got fish, and I'm pretty sure I named my first fish Oreo. Don't
Aw.
ask why. But I think he's actually like a white and black fish, like a weird like combination like that. And I was like, all right, Oreo's perfect. Um, and then when you kind of get a fish and you have to clean the tank and stuff, and then they
Yeah.
die, and then you do the whole ceremony in the toilet bowl before you flush them. That's
Oh, I
pretty
don't know about
unusual.
that.
Yeah, we would put the dead fish in the toilet and just say goodbye. And you do like a whole spiel, and then you flush them down the toilet, and you watch them swirl, and you watch them just like go away.
And then you just kind of forget it as soon as you walk away.
Exactly. You're just like, yeah, okay, like that's great.
Uh,
Wow.
I didn't personally own any like weird pets. But when I got to high school, our high school was actually very much in that agriculture, and I was as well. And so I took a lot of those classes. And we actually had a pet room in one of the agriculture. Oh, excuse me.
Uh-huh.
So we had birds. Birds was a pretty unusual one because that's not. I don't feel like it's as common as. But so we had like three birds. We had a guinea pig. We had a leopard gecko. So that one's pretty unusual. And I
Oh,
actually really liked the leopard gecko because it had a really thick tail and it was yellow. And then we had a hamster named Dexter. I love Dexter.
cute.
Dexter was great. I would hang out with Dexter a lot. Um, and then like with certain agriculture classrooms, we had like a companion animal for one of them. And if you did your dog breed, you could bring your dog into class. So you could bring in your dogs. I didn't ever bring mine in because I didn't have one then. So I was that loser. Um, but one of our students did it on a chinchilla. So they brought a
Uh-huh.
chinchilla into school, and I feel like that's a little unusual. I've only known one other person to have a chinchilla.
Uh-huh.
And they're actually really cool because they had to have like a dust bath. So you had to like literally
Uh-huh.
get a bowl with dust in it. That shit, I guarantee you, gets everywhere. Never own a chinchilla.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Mm. And then I did like other fish. So there's like the obviously like the companion fish, and then in school I did like a tilapia farm and things like that. So I was really into that. Oh, and then another kind of unusual one was pheasants. We had pheasants in school too.
Oh wow. You
Yeah,
guys
they
had
actually
like a whole zoo, man.
Yeah, so actually, there was one day when the pheasants all got out, and myself and like three other students were all done with their work. So our teacher literally sent us in the room for the entire class just to catch all these pheasants. And I will tell you, it took the entire classroom because these sons of bitches are actually fast. And they would like go
Yeah.
into these weird spaces that you didn't even know existed. I'm like, how did you get through that? And they did. And then we had an asshole of a chicken and he was gold, and I hated him. He literally packed. He didn't care. The only person we didn't pack was a teacher. I was like, I never wanted to go near him. I was like, as if he's out, I was like, fuck that. There was one day I walked into class, and this golden asshole chicken is just standing out of its cage, like in like the garage. And I was like, fuck it, I'm out. I'm like, peace. Y'all deal with that. I'm out. Not doing it. So yeah, that's about as unusual as it gets.
Wow. That that's crazy. Having a whole fucking zoo in your freaking school.
I
I
know.
think the only thing that we didn't have was horses, zebras, elephants, leopards,
Well,
monkeys. Anyways, I'm sure there's a spider or two in the school.
Yeah.
Anyways, Sarah, what about you?
So for me, I had a raven when I was a kid. I think I was like 7
like as
when we got it.
an in-home pet.
Yes.
Wow.
Um
Like the things that squawk in the morning to wake you up?
yeah, the ones that go caw. Yeah, those.
Oh, girl.
I love that raven. And he was so smart. He knew when food was coming. He knew like he like I would tell him to come here and he would like fly to my shoulder. Um
Aw.
I don't know, he was such a good bird. And like I just have really good memories of him. I remember there was this kid and he made fun of me because I had that as a pet, but I didn't care because like it was my little friend. I also had rats, and rats are, if you put males together, they're like kind of territorial because one of them ate the other one. I came home from school one day and I saw one laying down and I was like, what is wrong with him? And I got up and I got close and I was like, holy fuck, half his head is missing. And I had to make my friend take him out and like throw
Finish the
him.
job.
Yeah, because I was like, I can't touch that. I can't, like, I don't know. I was very disturbed. And then I did my research afterwards and then I was like, oh, they're territorial. So I made a mistake by putting them together.
Sometimes you learn the hard way.
Yeah. I mean, afterwards, like, my dad like told me that I had to like give them away because they kept escaping.
Yeah, dude.
And
Oh
they
boy.
kept like hiding in our stuff and like I don't know, my dad was just tired of it because every time we would go do something, like we would come back and they would be out of their cage. And so I gave them to a friend. He like too bad like I stopped having like contact with him, but he still had them for a while, like years after.
You remind me of when I owned chickens.
Aw. I had a pet chicken when I was a kid.
I had
And
4 of them.
it would follow me and we would play together.
I had 4 of them and I did them for a school project.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
and then I gave them away to a farm afterwards, if that makes anyone feel more comfortable after keeping them in cage for a while. But I still have pictures. They were cute. I love putting them on my arm.
Oh.
I felt like I was like the queen of the world just with these fucking chickens on my arm. I put 4 of them. I put all of them on my arm. I was like, hell yeah. Anyways.
They're so cute and fluffy. And then they
Yeah.
have this like when you're like hugging them, they like do this little noise. Like it reminds me of like cats purring, but it's not. It's like like they make this like noise. I don't know what to call it, but it's cute. I love chickens.
I never had any chickens growing up. I knew a couple people that did, but like,
I can send you some. I know where to get them. I still have the person's number.
oh yeah, okay, sounds good.
You know what's
Ellie
interesting
would
is
have a
you can
fit.
still pick. You can still pick. They let you pick like male or female, but you actually can't like you don't know what you're getting until they're actually older. So it's kind of ridiculous.
Oh
But
yeah.
send them to you anyways. Next thing you know,
Okay.
she gets a box on their doorstep with caution, live animals.
I know. She's gonna be like, "What is this?"
I don't want a chicken, please.
People gonna come knocking on the door and be like, why the fuck do you leave this box on your doorstep for 2 minutes?
Oh my god.
Anyways, Desi, what about you? What about your animals?
I mean, so I had a couple cats growing up. Which girl, I'm not a fan of cats. I'm allergic, but we had like some odd ones. So
Same.
my dad liked. I mean, we had a lot of fish, but my dad was that guy that like we had a little piranha.
Oh.
And he literally had to have
Ew.
his own. I know. He literally had to have his own tank because he kept obviously eating all the other fish. And so we just had this tank of this like foot long piranha in this fucking thing. I hated him.
Edible.
He would like stare at you. I'm like, he and I were beefing all the time. I hated it.
Did you put your hand in the tank?
No, he would bite me.
How did you clean the tank?
I didn't. My dad. That was his project. We also had like an iguana,
What?
which was I
Oh, I feel like those are kind of cool, actually.
I hate reptiles, bro. I hate them.
Oh god.
I'm gonna take you to the Amazon.
No, No, thank you. We also had two. So we had a turtle. His name was Tommy, and we had him for years. He was just like one of those like red, those like regular like house turtles, the small ones with like the red line on their back. I don't
Aw,
remember what they're
Oh,
called.
yeah.
cute.
Like a turtle. Kitty.
But we had him for a few years, and then we decided that we were gonna get him a friend, so we got another one, and we named him Timmy. So it was Tommy and
Oh
Timmy.
my god.
And unfortunately, Timmy wasn't very bright. Timmy got stuck in the castle and drowned. Yeah. And then literally like 3 days later, Tommy died, and we think it was of a broken heart because he had his friend, and his friend was gone.
Oh,
That was really sad.
Oh.
But we had the older turtle for like quite a while, like years. And then yeah, we had a lot of fish, and then I actually had hamsters too growing up. I had quite a few hamsters, and that's why I laughed when you said that they escaped, because they would get out of their cage all the time. And we would have to like run around the house and try and find them. And one time one of my hamsters escaped, and I could not find this fucking thing. Okay. And like a week had passed, and I was like, hey, he probably just like died or like got out of the house and like he's gone, right? But it was like a week passed, and I was sitting on my bed, I was watching TV, and all of a sudden I heard this little like squeaking noise coming from the closet. And I open up the closet, and there he is, just sitting on the floor staring at me. And I was like, bro, I don't even know how he survived a week without food, you know? But
probably
I was
ate like
hoping you were gonna
crumbs.
say that you were sitting on the toilet.
no, sitting on my bed. No, but he was just like in the closet, and I felt kind of bad. I was like, were you in here the whole time? Did you like just get in here? Like I don't know what was going on. But they're crazy, bro. I had a sock sitting too close to the cage one time, and the hamster ate the whole sock. And then he was like pooping out like
Oh my god.
like
Strings.
strings and stuff.
I was thinking, I just had a random thought. Can be like, now he's a cotton ball. Sorry, anyways.
Dude, they're freaking crazy. Like we literally would have to like zip tie the freaking cage doors down because they would just like get out.
You know what's even crazier than a hamster? Fucking dwarf hamsters. We had one of those too.
Oh
And
yeah.
he bit everybody. I hated this motherfucker. I was like, you're very poppable right now. Like, stop biting me.
They're so small, like you can't just like chuck them, you know? Like they just think that they're so
God.
big and
The
bad.
same thing with hamsters. Oh my god, I actually dropped Dexter one time. Dexter
Aw.
was going too fast. But he was fine. Like he was so good. He actually lived to be like really, really old, so he was fine.
No.
Just gave him, made his
Don't
heart
they
rate a little
eat
bit a
their
bit.
babies?
I don't know, but he never had any.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
my-
I've heard that, but I've never
You
seen
that
that.
reminded me. I actually made like a emptied like Word document one time, and I just put Dexter on my laptop, and I just had him walk around, and I titled the document "What Dexter Says." It was literally just a bunch of gibberish because obviously you can't type for anything, but it was just him walking around the keyboard.
Oh, you're stupid. Is that
Aw.
the dwarf hamster?
No, this is the good hamster.
Oh.
R.I.P. Dexter. Miss you.
Jesus. And then at one point we did have a pair of lovebirds.
What is that?
I don't know. I really don't know. But they're
And
like
you
it's like a
owned
thing.
it?
Well,
Okay.
my mom had them. I hate birds. Like I hate birds like in that sense. Like as pets. Not a fan.
Why? Because they poop everywhere?
They're just annoying and they're loud. Same with the hamsters. Of all time, he'd be sleeping during the day, and then all of a sudden at 3 a.m., he decides to run on his fucking
on the
wheel.
God, guinea pigs are the same
Oh my
way,
god.
dude.
They are.
And then so my ex-boyfriend, his sister had one, and like we lived together, and that fucking thing would be like going ham at night, and I'm like, bro, I gotta go to work the next day, and then it would go wee 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 the whole time, and I'm like, bro, shut up.
Uh-huh.
Interesting fact about guinea pigs that I learned is that they eat their own poop. I
Ew.
literally so I
way.
put this guinea pig on the counter, and this bitch whipped around and shoved this pebble in his mouth. I was like, ew. And my teacher was like,
Why?
it's okay. My teacher's like, it's okay. Like they can do that. I was like, that's fucking nasty. I was like,
That
that's
is
some
really
like
gross.
weird ass. I was like, you don't see any fucking. Well, I mean, unless you're fucking weird. Turn around and get out the fucking like toilet bowl and eat their shit. Like Ew.
Unless you're
Well,
weird.
don't
Get a
some
room.
dogs do that?
Yes, and my dogs used to do that when they were puppies. It's so disgusting.
Ew, Desi. Ew.
I know.
Gross.
Ew.
It's not just. I mean, they do that.
Sorry.
So, I mean.
I just had a really disgusting thought. I'm sorry.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. I have a dog now. His name is Duke. A lot of you have probably seen him if you've looked on
So cute.
anything.
He's adorable.
He's actually adorable. He actually got a haircut recently. I sent you all the photo when he was like recently got a shower after that.
I know, he's so cute.
He's so cute right now. He heard me say his name and he looked up at me. Anyways,
Yeah,
He's a big boy.
I've had quite a few dogs throughout my
he's
life.
huge. I actually had someone the other day tell me they were like, he is so much bigger than in photos. I was like, yeah, he's like 50 pounds. And I just pick him up, you know? And she's like, he's like half the size of me. I was like, girl, well,
Bro,
no,
he
but
weighs more
okay,
than
cool.
my 9-year-old. What the fuck?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's like literally 50 pounds. But he's a little less now, but he's like right around there.
Jeez. I have little rats. My smallest one is she's like 8 pounds, and the other one's like 14 pounds.
Twix is
Cute,
adorable.
though.
Ellie is something else.
She just doesn't. She's just not bothered by nobody. Like, she just doesn't give a fuck about anything, you know?
Yeah, she barks
She-
at everyone.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she barks at everybody. And I was like, oh, okay, bitch. Anyways.
Oh my gosh. No, but
Twix is
that's.
so lovable. I love Twix.
She is. But that's it. Like, for pets that I've owned. I don't know. I think the weirdest one
Let us
would be
know
the
in the comments
piranha.
below who would have the weirdest animal. Let us know.
I always forget that we had that stupid fucking thing, and then when I remember it, I'm like, why? Like, what was the point of that? Like, and I'm not
Have
even
you-
kidding you. You'd walk past it, and it would just like stare at you. I'm like, I'm trying to beef with you right now.
Mhm.
Like, let's go. Like, I hated it. As like a
I was
wee child, I
laughing.
was like 8.
He's like smacking the fucking tank, like, get out of the water.
You know,
Let's
like,
fight."
what's her face from Finding Nemo when she'd smack the
Yes,
glass? That literally was
yes.
me. I'm like,
Hit with the braces.
Uh,
Yes.
Darla.
Oh,
She's got like her fucking bag ready. Like, let's go. Time to tango.
Oh my gosh. But yeah.
You're like, come on, Vato, let's
I
throw
was
some hands.
kind of hoping you see the Barracuda, so you could start playing like the Barracuda and go Barracuda.
Oh my god.
Anyways.
Oh,
But
God.
yeah, that's about it. I did want to mention really quickly that as of recently we have created a Patreon for the podcast. So if you're interested in extra content and interacting more with us, we do have 3 tier options to choose from. Each of which has something special to offer for you. So the link will be in the description for that if you are interested. And yeah, that's about it.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's episode. We hope that you enjoyed it.
All the links to our socials will be in the description below.
We really just want to thank all of you guys for supporting us. We want to thank Dream for editing, and it's Elio for all like our logos. And we really appreciate all the continued support and love from you guys. Seriously.
Until next time, homies. See ya.
See
See ya.
ya.